So I'm going to be talking a bit about BlackBerries, WebOS, and Windows Mobile, and this will sort of roam through mobile technology in general, because you really can't talk about these things isolated and not have references to the others. So to give you an idea of some of the solutions that I explore so that you can implement, this is my presentation. It's running off of my MacBook, and the slides are right here, and I'm going to be using this to control the presentation. Wow. This is wonderful technology. This is called Keynote Remote, working with Keynote. So this is just a little glimpse of the market share within the United States of smartphones. This is not devices being bought and sold. This is actually statistics generated by who's visiting websites. So you'll see that the iPhone is a dominant player. Definitely, if you would have looked at this 3 or 4 months ago, it would have been the dominant player. But Android is 44% of the page impressions right now, which is a substantial market share for such a young platform. And this is because iPhone users tend to be more app-centric. They'll be using applications on the phone and do what's called web snacking. It accesses information on the internet and bypasses the web pages, so you don't view the ads, which is where these statistics are generated from. Whereas Android users are doing more page browsing on their devices. And then BlackBerries, despite the fact that there's maybe 1.2 BlackBerries for every iPhone, they account for a very small percentage of the overall browsing. That's because the BlackBerry browser is not very good. We'll talk about that in a bit. And then you've got the others, Windows Mobile, which is a very small presence overall because the browser is terrible, and WebOS and the rest of the crowd. So I'm going to start out by talking about BlackBerries. BlackBerries are probably the oldest of what would be considered smartphones. When I talk to people, I tell them that BlackBerries right now aren't really smartphones in the classical sense. They're really mobile email devices. They have a lot of the same capabilities as a normal smartphone, but what they do, and what they do very, very well, is mobile email. So those are some of the form factors. They talk to a separate service that's called a BES. That's usually a distinct box. You have your Exchange server, which is what handles email and calendaring and so forth, and then you have a BES, which its only job is to talk to the smartphones. This means it does what it does very, very well, but it also means it's more expensive to run. So they do really good email, better than anyone else when it's connected to an Exchange server. They have fantastic keyboards. In general, they have some of the best keyboards in the market. If you're looking to do a lot of email typing, which can be really sore on the thumbs, the BlackBerry is probably the way to do it. They're also the best from a security standpoint. The entire interaction, sending email from your device, traveling across your carrier, going into the internet, and getting to who it's going, at least the first parts of that are very, very secure. Nobody else can do it quite as secure as BlackBerry can right now. RIM has been really, really focused on this. In addition to the email interaction via the BES, they also have something called PIN messaging. So you can send a message, very much like a text message, directly from your BlackBerry to somebody else's BlackBerry, and that is completely safe from one BlackBerry to the next. That's not the case with text messages. Text messages, if somebody was somewhat savvy, this isn't that hard, they can actually read text messages that are traveling back and forth on the internet, same as email. So BES messaging and PIN messaging is more secure. And in addition, BlackBerry devices have on-device encryption. So everything on the device itself is encrypted. And if somebody doesn't know the password and tries to access the device, tries to put in a password 10 times, the device will wipe itself and completely erase all that information. It won't be retrievable in case somebody wants to be using your information. And that's a big deal if you have HIPAA data maybe coming across in emails on your devices, and if you're looking at documents that are important and so forth. This is very relevant to some people at the university. So I'm going to do a quick demonstration of what BlackBerries look like. This is a BlackBerry Bold 9700. It's the most recent high-end device. And you can see the interface here is very simple. You've got your applications, and it's not a touch screen. You can't touch this and do things. It's controlled by this thing, which is called an optical trackpad. And it's sort of like a mouse pad on your laptop, and it's interacted with in basically the same way. And so you can use this to go into your address book. I don't have any data on here because I'm going to be passing this around. But it's an interface that's geared around getting things done quickly and efficiently. And so you can type on here really, really well. If I go into an SMS application, SMS text. So you can type fairly, you get the idea.
What is SMS?
That's a text message that you send from phone to phone. Yeah. So, it's very good for what it does, but a problem that a lot of people have with